Hi, good morning. Today's webinar's title is Data Management 101 for System Admin. I'm the instructor for today's PDM, and our session will be roughly around 1 hour, and all the content are courtesies to Jeremiah. I do not own the content myself, so I have the content from Jeremiah's presentations. So what is actually data management? So we would like to go back into the old ages. What is the histories of engineering data management? So it started off with hand drawings with these particular tools, and then we have old paper storage which to store inside the rack, and then we have floppy disks, and then 1.44 MBs, and then we have a zip drive, and then continuously we have cassettes, and we have more kind of data storage systems, which the reasons here we have pen drive, hard disk, and so on. So the futures will be cloud. Okay, cloud storage is getting much more advanced currently. So the future might just go into the clouds, and you just need to manage your data in the cloud. So this is roughly about the introductions and the histories of data management system. And how to manage it is some different stories. So why is data management is very important? So when we talk about data management, the management of data generally is on how the data is being structured, stored, or migrate from one directories to another. Data management often involves and concerns with securities, accuracies, cleanliness, durations, as well as multiple handlings of redundancies of data. Usually they are dedicated administrators, or usually it will be an IT admin that deal with all these data management in an organization. So in these particular webinars, we are going to go through and provide you instructions of your first steps of learning what methods works and what methods is good for data management. So good data management policies will really make everyone's jobs easy. And however, a bad data management policies can make everyone crazy. Alright, so let me talk about a few of the data management types currently out there that we have. So first of all is standalone local storage. It's a very old school, slow, and it prompts to have human errors, and it's really not recommended if you are using it for multi-user environments. So then we have network sharing storage. So it's the cheapest ways to share data among multi-user, and of course it's less effective due to the limits. And then Workgroup PDM Environment is for small user groups, and then Enterprise PDM is for huge user groups, as well as they have a lot of third-party solutions out there. So however, we will talk into details on each of these in the later slides later. So first of all, we talk about standalone local storage. So when we talk about standalone local storage, means that it is your hard disk, it is your current hard disk, it is your hard disk which is inside your PC, or is an external hard disk. So there are pros and cons for each of for this standalone local storage method. So it's easy to access. Okay, you do not require any special assessment. So if you have the access to the PCs, you most probably have the access to the files. So then it's easy to manage. So everything is inside one particular PC. You do not need to go across platform to get whatever things that you will need. And then a low initial investment. So what do you need is just your hard disks and your PCs to get things work. But the cons is that it's limited. So once the hard disk is full, you can't add in additional. You need to add in additional hard disks, or you need to go for additional storage. And you have zero redundancy, no backups, okay, and it's very risky. So once you lost the data, it will be gone if you do not backups from time to time. So then we have network sharing locations. So network sharing locations is your server. Okay, to be simple, it's your server. So we call it as a central access. Everyone can access to one particular areas, and you have backups. Of course, depends on depends on your IT's practice of and IT policies to back up your files. But of course, they have limited access to multiple user supports. Depends on your bandwidth, depends on your server speeds. The cons is that it's very resource intensive. They have very limited multi-user supports. Sometimes it may take time for you to index the files inside the servers, or sometimes it might take time for you to get the correct files from the servers. So it's difficult for you to search file. Imagine that you're already being very slow to search file in your local PC. So if you've done across network, it will be much more difficult and it will be much more slow. And when this kind of slows, it can cause SolidWorks to be crashed. It can cause SolidWorks to have instabilities. So something to remember about network share locations is that, so there are benefits of these network share locations. So you can share templates file, you can share toolbox libraries, you can share some common CAD files among the entire organizations. So another thing to remember is the drawing and assemblies file are linked to individual parts. So you cannot simply change your parts using Windows Explorer. You cannot move your parts away. You cannot transfer one file or rename the files simply by using Windows Explorer. SolidWorks Explorers is the one that can help you out to solve this issue. But however, when you work across networks, it will be very time consuming and very frustrating. If more of you are using the networks, so make sure that you created a well-organized file structure and you stay with it with the correct design trees and with these particular well-organized design trees and as well as the folder structures. Else, you will have a hard time in searching your file and you will have a hard time in finding reference for each of your SolidWorks components. So let me talk about Workgroup PDM. So PDM is actually Product Data Management System. So a Workgroup PDM is good for small groups. Okay, ideally it's for 1 to 10 users, and it is multi-user support, easy to use with some trainings. You do not require to be a master or PhD to use it. So you're able to trace back your revisions. You're able to trace back your history as well. You're able to trace back all your change as well. So system automatically track revisions and system maintain any backups of the copies or of the previous revisions. And if you do any changes, it will pretty much be recorded inside the system itself. And we also can have an extensive search tool where we can we can search tool based on many criteria, based on whatever you like. Okay, with the default search tools. Then we have limited workflow support. You can have a workflows to control it, default workflows to control who can access to the files, who will be able to approve the files, and what will be the files, where will the file goes after the approvals, and who will be handling the files next. The concept is that it only available for SolidWorks Pros and Premium license. Will require additional hardware. It require servers to make sure this is done. It requires user and administrators to undergo the trainings. Without trainings, you won't be able. You pretty much will have some time struggling with the system. And the employee and the whole departments will need to committed to the success of this system. We have limited workflow support. Because this is just work groups, what you have is only the default workflow. Then the stability decrease as the work group size increase. Then we have Enterprise PDM. So Enterprise PDM is scalable at any size organizations. No matter what are the target users, we are scalable. So the only limit is the license, is the number of license. For multi-user supports, it supports for multi-user and it supports for remote access support as well. So multiple users, revisions, tracking, history tracking, and change trackings is the same as what you have in the Workgroup PDM. And we have extensive search tool, much more extensive search tool for you to gather all the information. And you have a complete workflow support, and this workflow is customizable throughout the times. Okay, depends on your company policies and company managements of data. And the cons is the cost. Okay, the limits is the number of licenses. If you have 10 persons, you will require 10 licenses in order for you to use it. And you require additional hardware as well, servers. The user and administrator require training as well. So the IT support is required for you to, IT supports will normally require for you to maintain the servers, for you to access the servers data, and for you to create or for you to have the implementations of the whole system. So a dedicated person will require to handle all these information. So let's just talk a little bit about overviews of the PDM systems and how does it mean, how was the overall background of it. So we talk about the files in the PDM system. We were able to access the file status. We were able to access the ownerships, and whenever the files is currently outdated, we would like to have files which is always updated because we do not want to use an old file. And how does this all being controlled? It's all because all the files is being stored inside the vault. Okay, the vaults that store all your files, and every changes, every trackings, every revisions, every changes, every state was stored inside the vault information, including the history. So those are some common symbols that you will see in the Workgroup PDM, whether it's the latest or whether it's the older versions of files. And then, if you want to look at the histories, you can always toggle to the history tab, and it will give you a history of what are the times, what are the dates, who is the user, and what is the actions being done by that particular users on that particular files. Okay, so it's easily traceable for your components. Then we are able to revert or restore back our previous revisions or previous file. Okay, with ease, just with the right-click menu. Then other files formats such as MP3 file, JPEG files, you can name the extensions. You will be able to add it into the EPN system. So these are some list of file types that attach to Workgroup. EPDMs have much more file types where you can attach along with. Okay, as long as you can name the extensions, you're able to bring that files in. So this is some interface of Workgroups options. So as you can see the vault settings, the permissions, and what is the administrators handling this. Okay, and we can control the workflows and so on every day. Everything's in this particular administrators interface. But what I would like to emphasize more is the enterprise PDM's options. So enterprise PDM is actually a full features and is fully customizable for the PDM system. Hence, so you have a full access to the workflow, and we can manage it based on the schemes. So nearly unlimited data variables where you can set up, okay, to ease the search or organizing of the files. So event notifications are tied to the workflows. You will get a notification whenever you try to transition a files to another stage. MRP or ERP system integration is possible. So it's much more dependable upon your needs rather than following the defaults or the software capabilities. Okay, you can fully customize it by your own. So some EPDM key features are as below. So data cards, able for you to store all the metadata. So these metadata you can extract it and directly propagate to the title blocks of the drawing. And then we have integrated previews, means that you do not need to have a SolidWorks in order for you to preview a files. Okay, you can use the integrated previews of the window without needing you to open a new e-drawings. Okay, and the interface is pretty much the same as your Window Explorer, so you do not need to spend much time in adapting to this new environment. Then you will have version of history. Okay, looking at the files, you are able to access to the previous versions easily or previous revisions easily without in no time. Okay, just by a right-click menu or by drop-down. Okay, so another key feature is the extensive search tool. So we can search our file based on the name and location. We can search our file based on the card. We can search on the file based on the variables that you key in the data cards. You can based on the file who are the one that access to the file in what, during when. And we can access the file based on workflow, whether the files are in the approved states or whether it's in the editing states. And there are many more criteria where you can add in for this particular extensive search tool. Then we have direct BOM export, especially useful for the procurement parts. You do not need to require engineers to go through all the trouble to get things right. All you need to do is just straight away export the BOM from the EPDM system. It do not require you to have additional steps of requesting the engineers to get things done. Right? Then, last but not least, we have flexible workflows, and it's fully configurable. So, as you can see in these particular workflows, you will see that your files in working process, once you submit for approvals or you does not require approval, it will go to the file states of approve. So if any eco or if any engineering change orders required, it will be fall under back to the under editing status. Any pending analysis, it can be added. Every single stage of changes or any changes of status, any changes of states can be assigned with a notification. So with that, you will pretty sure make sure that no one miss out any information or no one miss out any urgent files to be approved. So this is pretty much all the EPDM, the features of EPDM. And data management systems is something to help you out to increase your productivities every day. So again, if you are dealing with securities file, the file securities, and you often have problems with the accuracy of the files that you get, and you always have a massive files organization storage. So do consider EPDM. Okay, a data management systems that can help you to increase your productivities, and at the same time to reduce the time for you to increase your work process in many ways. So thank you. So feel free to drop us any emails and feel free to send us any inquiries. We will be more than willing to explain to you in detail more on the data management. Right, thanks for your time, and I will end the webinars for today.